jumping is not exactly your strong suit. Perhaps extremely easy will be a bit more fun for the both of us. Yeah, the bottom part is the easier one anyway. But not that easy, you idiot. You still need to at least try.
Hello everybody and welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be covering an indie platforming game called Will You Snail. Huge thanks to the developer for giving me a key to this game. I wouldn't have been able to make this video without it. I will still give you guys my honest, unbiased opinion whether he gave me the game key or not. So huge thanks to him for giving me the key. And yeah, let's get into the review. Okay, the first thing I want to talk about is the art style in this game. In my opinion, it looks really good. If you guys have problems with like epileptic seizures or something, you may have a problem with this game because it does have a lot of flashing lights and colors and a lot of neon lights and stuff. But I really enjoyed this game. The art style of this game looks really good. I love the bright neon colors and how the levels try to mess with your brain, and sometimes the levels might go upside down or things like that. The way the game likes to mess with you is really cool, and I love that aspect of this game. Also, the soundtrack for this game goes really well with the levels. I think the soundtrack for this game is really good. I will say it does get a little bit repetitive at times because there's not that many soundtracks in this game from what I can tell. I could only get like 3 different songs in the game, and I played the game for like 4 hours, so I'm assuming there was only 3 soundtracks in this game, but the 3 soundtracks are amazing. They're really good. But hearing the same soundtrack on repeat over and over again for like multiple levels can get a little boring, but I did really like the soundtrack. The soundtrack for Will You Snail is really good. Also, there is a story in this game. I'm not going to go too in-depth on the story in this video because I want you guys to go play the game to figure out the story, but there is a story in this game, and the story, in my opinion, was actually pretty good, especially for a platforming game. I wasn't expecting there to be a story at all, to be honest, with going into it, but the story is actually pretty decent. I really like the story. Now, what you guys are here for, I'm assuming, is the AI. The AI in Will You Snail is really interesting. This is one of the first platforming games I've ever seen where the gameplay adapts to you. The movements that you make, the AI will try to stop you at every corner, and especially if you start repeating the same pattern over and over again, I've noticed the AI will start blocking that area and trying to stop you from going through it. So the AI basically tries to counter your playstyle the entire time you're playing, and especially on higher difficulties, the game will be really difficult. The AI will be constantly trying to get in your way and constantly trying to stop you from completing the level. On lower difficulties, the AI gets toned down a lot, so there isn't as much of like spikes getting spawned on you and enemies trying to get in your way and stuff, but there's still a lot, even on the lowest difficulty. This game is a very difficult platforming game because of the AI. And I really like it. The AI allows for so many different ways to play the game, and the levels always feel different because of the AI. It adds a lot of replayability, in my opinion, to the game, because normally I wouldn't replay a platforming game more than once because you're not going to want to go through and do the same levels again for no apparent reason. But with this game, every time you play the same level, it will always play out differently because the AI is doing something different, which in my opinion is a really good idea, and I think it was honestly what made this game for me. The AI was insanely good. It was also super funny as well because the AI has voice quotes in this game, and it will basically constantly try to make fun of you for being a human. So if you die, it'll give you toxic quotes and make fun of you, like this quote here.
Yes, when you walk off a cliff, falling down is what happens. One day you'll understand.
And it'll just constantly be trying to put you down while you're playing the game and try to get you mad, which is really funny in my opinion as well, because it's kind of also affecting the way you play. If the AI can get into your head and make you mad, it actually can make you play worse, which in my opinion is really funny as well, because not only is the AI trying to counter your gameplay, but it's also trying to get in your head and make you mad. So it's a very interesting way of designing the platforming game. The AI basically makes this game for me. If the AI wasn't in this game, I would not find this game nearly as enjoyable. The AI pretty much carries this game, and it makes it so much more fun. The gameplay that it adds is insane, and also, like I said, the quotes that the AI makes is so funny. Okay, on top of the AI, the other ways that the game likes to mix up the gameplay is A, puzzles, and B, bosses. The puzzles, in my opinion, in this game aren't the best, but they're not bad by any means. I enjoyed the puzzles. I know there's going to be a lot of people that just skip them because the game does give you the option to skip the puzzles, which I think was a really good idea, because I know there's going to be a lot of people who are not going to enjoy the puzzles and aren't going to want to do them. So adding the ability to just allow people to just straight up skip the puzzles was a really nice touch, and I really like that. But I still went through and did all the puzzles because I actually enjoyed them and I thought they were fun. But some of them did get a little boring at times. So the puzzles, in my opinion, is probably the weakest part of this game. I really wasn't a huge fan of the puzzles in this game. They got very repetitive very fast, and they just got kind of boring after a while. But other than that, the gameplay mix-ups were really good. Like the bosses in this game were a ton of fun. Each one implemented new mechanics that each chapter made. The way the game works is there's 5 chapters. All of them, I believe, have 20 levels in them. So at the end of your 20 level chapter, there'll be a boss. That boss you have to kill. And the way you do it is different every time. Most of the time, the way you have to kill the boss is related to the new mechanics that were added in the chapter that you just played. So let's say the chapter just added the basketball mechanic, for example. There's an entire boss around that basketball where you have to play volleyball against the boss. You basically have to keep the boss from being able to recharge itself, so you're going to have to constantly assault it with the volleyball over and over again and keep throwing it to its side to stop it from being able to charge. There's a ton of different bosses as well. There's a huge spider boss where you have to use this gun that the game gives you to kill it. Then the final boss was really, really fun as well. I won't show any gameplay of that because, like I said, I want you guys to go and play the game. But the gameplay mix-ups that the boss brings is really fun as well. I loved every boss in this game. There was no boss that I felt was like boring or annoying. I loved every single one of them. And I think the bosses are a great way to mix up the game as well. I think the game has a lot of replayability because of, like I said, the bosses and the AI constantly trying to get in your way. And there's another thing that I really like about the AI as well. I noticed this when I was playing my boss fights, because it was mainly the boss fights that I was having this problem with. If you die multiple times, like let's say you die 50 times in the same level, the boss will eventually start lowering the difficulty, and it will tell you this. It will give you some kind of like toxic quote making fun of you, telling you that you're bad or something, and it'll tell you that it's going to lower the difficulty. And what that means most of the time is either the boss moves slower, or if it's a normal level, less spikes will start spawning in. The AI will stop getting involved as much, and it will just let you do the level yourself, which does allow people who are having a difficult time with one level eventually beat the level, which I think is a good touch as well, because there'll never be a situation where you're just stuck on one level for 4 hours and you can't get done with it for the most part, because the AI, like I said, will get involved and try to help you with the level, which in my opinion is a great way to help people who are struggling through the game as well, because this game is very difficult, and I think that is a great way to allow people who are having a tough time still enjoy the game. But yeah, that's pretty much all I want to talk about in this video. If you guys want to check out the game, I'll have a link to the store page down below in the description. You guys can go wishlist it or purchase it if you so please. And also go down below and check out the developer's YouTube channel. He has a ton of videos on the development of this game, and he also has a launch trailer officially on his channel as well. So if you guys want to go check all that stuff out, go down below to his channel and check him out. But yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video, and peace out.
You see here, kid, you gotta just go for it. Don't think about what